There we go. Is it? Oh, there we go. Can you guys hear me? Have you guys not been able to hear me this whole time? I've been talking this whole time. Can you guys not been able to hear me this whole time? Rex, Curious for a Million, the potential to be like Byakuya. I mean, I don't know about that one. From the standpoint of like just having the flower blot or the flower petals. I mean, yeah, but I mean that's about it. There's nothing really beyond that for Kirsch. I like Kirsch, but that's not his character style that I feel like he can logically go for. I don't think he's gonna be going down the road of Byakuya Kuchiki anytime soon. But you guys didn't say anything. Like, how would I know if you guys couldn't hear me? Come on. There was like, how long are we in? We're at like 8 minutes in. There was a good 5 minutes that no one said anything at all. Why you guys can hear me now? Jeez. I wonder how strong the creature is. If the hands are on the planet, it would be pretty powerful. Yeah, I'm wondering if this is one of many, or if this one just continuously spreads all around Elentir with his big spooky flesh tentacles. Big spooky flesh hands, I guess, since they are factually hands and not tentacles. Black Lord versus everybody crew agreed with me that Leopold beats Rill. I mean, yeah, probably. Like, what does Rill do? Rill's gained like 0 strategic capability since the time skip. Rill's had nothing new that actually like would be beneficial to him. There's nothing. None of his like weird spells that he's painted as of late are gonna matter against Leopold. Sorry, could you repeat the answer to the questions? I can't hear you. Which ones, though? You gotta just re-ask them. Oh, just how am I doing? I'm doing alright. Now that I know that I had to fix my mic, man. You're happy for Rebecca? Yeah, Rebecca did a good job. She was able to outsmart her opponent and figure out the way to expose her. To show everybody that she was cheating and she just wasn't playing fair whatsoever. Rex sharing King Lightning is liking Black Clover. Oh, that's good. Hopefully he pays attention to it. Thought you were setting up? Man, I've been staying. Oh, I guess sitting. I've been sitting here talking this whole time. Draken Joseph Optimus Prime from Transformer Cybertron in this Japanese version. That's pretty sick. Optimus Prime. Sucks. I just when I was starting to run out of water. I'll have to get water maybe at some point, or maybe this water will last. I have like barely any left. But yeah, things were pretty good this couple set for the week. Like we had a really good Eden Zero chapter. I was setting up stuff with the fights of the twin. Well, they're not twins, but the siblings Sylph and Jin. Jin better have overdrive. Like Jin absolutely deserves it. I don't know why Jin wouldn't have overdrive. Sylph, I'm not too sure on, but Jin definitely should have overdrive. It's kind of inevitable since Homura and Wise have it. Becky's cheating by cutting up 2 cards was pretty smart. Oh yeah, she had to figure out how to expose another cheater. Where do you think Noct and the rest went to? I hope to Morris. Like, if they're not going to Morris, then they're being stupid. How do you feel about Clean getting overdrive along with Jin? I don't want her to. I think it's too early for her to. I thought it was too early for Wise to even get overdrive. Homura, I was in an okay zone with because Homura was already so experienced with her ether gear, way more trained and stuff. I was fine with her getting it. I'm still not kind of like I've been on Wise getting it. His is like way more towards the edge of like where I'm like okay with and not okay with. Sylph and Rebecca are 2 characters I do not want to get overdrive already. Jin has to. Jin was already really close, so logically if people like Homura and Wise can do it, Jin should absolutely be able to. Reading Mashal, also have a good stream. I do read Mashal. Mashal's fun. I look forward to the next chapter. We gotta wait another week. Well, until Sunday. I mean, that's mostly a week. That's 5 days. But, yeah, we gotta wait all the way until the next set before we get any more Shonen Jump stuff because of the freaking Olympics, man. You know, it's funny is I don't know anyone who's really watching the Olympics, so I kind of wish we got chapters instead. But the manga ended up getting a week to rest and to kind of just relax, so That is pretty fair as like a trade-off in my book. I feel we have too many guys from Diablos, like, right, Ryzen didn't do anything yet. There are 3 more Black Dragon Slayer Knights. Okay. He hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't even stood up. Ocarina's new, purple hair? What are you talking about? You talking about Laguna? Can you please use normal names and words? So Mario Starter Eden Zero Crew? Probably Shiki. Rex eating people and Josuke Discord think Nock beat Julius. There's a lot of really goofy power scaling in that Discord. There's people in there saying that like Luck beats Lumiere, which is ridiculous. Queen was close to Homura in power, so it would make sense for her to get it. Yeah, but power doesn't necessarily instantly mean like their level of connection with their ether gear. The difference is like Homura is way more trained with it, way more skilled, and I think Overdrive comes way more down to usage of your ether gear rather than just broad power levels. I would guess. We still don't know entirely how like ether gears work. There's still a bit of a mystery, so we're gonna have to wait until we find somebody who's an expert on them to give us some information. But who knows exactly on that one? Who's the strongest guy from Dragon Ball Z Natsu can be? Well, the thing is, like, Natsu has the hacks to kill a lot of them. This is one of those things that would depend on landing hits. It's like Dragon Ball doesn't have nearly as much like resistance to like crazy hacks. So it could going after Celine. Yeah, that's the one that I think it's better to be left off as a cliffhanger rather than what the main cast is doing, because that could go like really crazy at any point. We could have Celine, like say like Celine gets to her big open air bath, and it's like a Lazarus pit that'll hear. She gets in there, gets healed. Suzaku's about to get in, she stops him right before he's about to touch it and starts just like attacking him and just like demolishing him. Maybe you'll have to have the Diablo's crew show up in order to save him. If so, that'd be pretty sick. What would Rebecca Overdrive even be? This would be like spam leap over and over. I would hope that hers would be, it'd be something like that where she just, not like her full time travel, but she would have full spammable like super close set time travel. Like if she could go back like 2 seconds just to where she was and just essentially continuously keep herself from either taking damage or just cheating in some fights. Or maybe making other people slower. That'd be kind of cool too if she can apply other time effects to other people. I would definitely like to see something like that for her Overdrive. Something pretty OP just to have additional on top of her powers already. God of Destruction Vegeta or Ultra Instinct Goku. You know, like Vegeta does look a little silly with the no eyebrows, and like, man, like every form now is just a different color, and I'm pretty sure this one's supposed to be purple. I mean, I'd probably go with Ultra Instinct Goku. I feel like Suzaku chasing Celine was a bad move. It could be, but he just was dedicated trying to finish the job. He definitely should have waited. Queen Homura slaps the entire OSI with mid-diff. No, she doesn't. Imagine next time we see Suzaku. Suzaku might be in trouble. If Celine is going somewhere to heal, and she's able to do that before he gets a chance himself to get himself fixed up, get better, then she's gonna demolish him. Like, it's not even gonna be remotely close, because she's gonna take him more seriously at that point. One second. Yeah, so I don't know. Celine just adds like a crazy spot to it, because I feel like Celine, obviously, like in her fight, she was messing around a lot, and I think if she didn't get caught, she would have been fine. Whereas like Celine, I think if she gets healed up, the next time she sees Suzaku, she's not gonna give him any openings like that. She's not just gonna mess around. She's gonna go for annihilation. Did she teleport to the moon to eat it? She'd regain her power. Depends if she was. If it's, does she like? Would she be eating like the pure moon lights or energy from the moon, or like the physical moon, like a moon rock? Because I figured that, like, it would be more towards moonlight, just by, like, gathering the light and energy from it, I would assume. Makes sense to me, but it'd be really weird if she could just, like, eat moon rock itself and get powered off that. That'd be really cool, though. That'd be such a weird ability. Next time we see Suzaku, he's a new beauty god. I mean, there's the possibility that it's really going to depend on what Celine does. Because, like, Celine is, like, a big factor in how Suzaku's fate is going to progress and exist. To be fair, Super Saiyan 3 had the no eyebrows. Yeah, but Super Saiyan 3 had the long hair, and it distracted from the no eyebrows. Now, you know, obviously had the lightning aura and stuff. It looked better, whereas Vegeta's new form, it's just his normal hair, a different color, and then the no eyebrows. There's nothing really that crazy to it. If, like, he had some form of weird energy addition to it, there was something that really kind of beefed up his general appearance rather than just the recolor, I'd probably, like, I'd be more rooting for it. Like, I don't think it's bad, I just don't really care much for it. Like, imagine if you were the one thinking of this new form, and you're sitting in, like, the creation process room, and all you do is erase Vegeta's hair or eyebrows, and you MS Paint change the hair color, and you call that a new form. It's just like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan on, like, the forms decisions themselves. I don't mind this, but it's just like, man, how did they think this was it? This was the we got it. We got the form done. We put in all the work. I wonder how one-sided the fight will be with Asta and Noelle against Megicula will be. I'm still hoping Megicula just leaves and just doesn't bother with it. Do you see Rebecca fighting Yuna? That would probably be way more of, like, a fair fight for her, because Rebecca logically, I don't think could really fight Lyra in, like, a one-on-one battle, because Lyra is still in the ocean. She's, like, playing a game here, so Rebecca being able to match her, okay, but, like, in an actual combative situation, I don't think so. Might have to get a water refill at some point during the stream. The water is already critically low. So Megicula needs to stop messing around. I mean, yeah, pretty much. That happens, though. It's like when you have a character that OP, you can, you know, obviously get caught just not taking things too seriously. Now, the difference between what I'm hoping for them and the twins is the twins decided just not to really take anything seriously until it was way too late. Where, like, instead of just getting caught by one thing or not having enough time to really figure out what the scenario is, like, what exactly is going on between you and this opponent, like, why are they dangerous? They just didn't decide to register that at any point. That's one of the things that'll separate them. Like, Megicula, I'm not expecting Megicula to say, anti-magic, alright, done. But I'm hoping that Megicula, once she gets to a point where she realizes, this dude is problematic, I need to leave this scenario, then that'll be it for, like, Megicula for me. That's right there. It's, like, sweet. Like, she is a much more valuable devil. She's got way more general kind of input to put in that is of quality to her and her character, rather than, like, the twins who just were big dummies. Who just were kind of idiots and didn't really think too much about, like, what they were doing and what was going on around them. Ziggy could go kill off Nero while the Dark Stars go activate All-Ling to kill two birds with one stone. I mean, there's the high possibility. Like, the fact that Ziggy isn't anywhere shown so far is really alarming. Because we know, like, that the forces of Nero's Empire are already dwindling down. We already have, what, two oceans done? Nase and Milani. 3 if you count Saika. So 3 of their high-level fighting units are done. We don't know how many of their forces are going to be, like, worn down from the fight with, like, the whole Interstellar Army and the Rebellion and stuff. And how many they're going to have just in general left once Ziggy shows up. Because Ziggy is just such an additional factor that is going to shift the whole situation when he arrives. Because if he, like, if the whole scenario, like this whole war, like started out with him present, that's a different story, because he would already be accounted for. We'd already know like what his influence in things, like how they're moving at what level of power and what pace. But like we have no idea right now, only that he is on his way, and it's just every chapter that it just looms a little bit closer. I feel like it's just building a little bit more on the advantage that he's gonna have, because the main cast is they only have so many people. They only have so many. They only have so much energy they can really spend towards like their enemies and stuff and their opponents. Narrow's Empire, like I said, Narrow's Empire is starting to get a little bit smaller, get a little bit less powerful. Who knows exactly what Narrow's gonna pull in order to take advantage of everybody and get himself ahead. Like the stream, guys. Yes, I would really appreciate if you guys would like the stream. Thumbs up the stream, like button, and the subscribe button. And subscribe if you haven't. And if you feel like, you know, throwing $1 or $2 my way, I would appreciate it. You don't have to, but it is something that I would appreciate. I just came here. What do you think of the 100 Years Quest chapter? Wait, 100 Years? Wait, let me see where though. Do you think 100 Years Quest is getting lackluster? No. I actually really liked this weird twist with like this strange creature and like how it's going to connect to Face. Because it could be a portal to larger scale lore, because the fact that it opens to Face means that we're going to have to get some explanation that also makes sense to Face. And Mishima might give us some form of large scale lore that connects it. Like, is this a species that would like exist by default? How exactly this is going to be? Like, I know there was like talking about like them being magic of Elentir and getting distorted by Selene. Yes, but like how exactly does that work? And how does that relate to what happened in Earthland? Like, there's a lot of stuff here that was just a really weird twist. And I really like Selene, and I want to see, like, where things go with her next. So, I've been pretty happy with where things are going. I think the only thing right now is it's weird because Selene has been so active, and we already see her, you know, take some heavy damage, that it feels like the arc is much further in than it probably is. Once we get to like points of like I what I'm hoping for, at least, of like other members of Diablo showing up, seeing more from Selene's perspective, more about her plan, maybe her actually like busting out some big villain stuff, because like the Moonlight Beauty Gods were like, they were capable, but they weren't that like intimidating of opponents. So I'm hoping that she's gonna have more to really roll up. And my hopes are that they're going to be her other dragon brood, like her sons and stuff somewhere. She's going to somehow summon them, and she's going to have these other dragons that have to get defeated. Because if Fairy Tail and Diablos, especially, like if they team up, you're going to have a lot of dragon slayers on one team. So having a big match where there's going to be a bunch of dragons involved would be really cool. I wish Megicula became a long-term villain. I do too. I like Megicula. I think Megicula's pretty cool. Granola is even more unbearable than Sasuke. I haven't minded him at all so far, but I haven't really like loved him. I thought he's been pretty okay. I just like that he's involved with past events that are really coming forward right now. Do you think chapter 304, 305 will go back to Yuno versus Xenon? I would hope that we'd get through this fight, or at least the major portions of it, unless we're going to get right to that fight, like in the next chapter or two. Like, I don't want to focus a lot on the Megicula fight and then not finish out the Megicula fight. If we're going to, like, head over to Yuno and stuff and see the Yuno's fights before we get back to stuff with Megicula, I'm fairly okay with that. But I definitely want focus on one of those two. And definitely in a way that's not going to feel odd. Because, like, that's kind of the thing I feel like a lot of people felt about the Yami versus Dante fight, at the point where, like, he death thrusts Yami, and then we get over to, like, stuff going on with, like, Noelle and everybody. So, or, sorry, EI slash, not death thrust, where it's, like, it felt like Dante had already been in a fight for a long time, but we hadn't seen him really start to pull up for real. Kind of BS of the plot about the bomb around Becky's neck was dropped, and she could run around without exploding. She's figuring out they're fine. It's just some weak level tech. They've got it all figured out and are on the move. That's like one of those things where it's like, it's such a small additional plot piece that it's not that important, and it just comes down to like a personal hope for it. Now, if it was like a nano chip, like inject into the neck, that'd be a whole different story. For me, cool would be magical beasts and Elentir, maybe something like Chimera ants. Like these guys, just like their race in general. That'd be pretty neat. I would love to see, like, to explore some of like the races we already have, like the Yakuma race. Like they're a tribe that we don't really know about. The whole Machias, like what, or however it's pronounced, Machias, whatever. Wall's race. Need that one day. Would be hyped to see the Dark Stars fight this arc, especially Wizard Clown. Clown is the one I want to see the most because I think he looks the coolest. I think he just looks neat. Zagreus is strong, but people think that he is weaker because of extra people, kind of like Momoshiki. Yes, it's very weird. The people like in Josuke's debate tab have this really weird idea that people like Zagreus, Julius, Lumiere, like they're all fodder now, which is really odd. How do you scale the face creature's power level? I don't know. We don't know anything really about them yet. It doesn't even look like they can really fight much. You know, Fuego Leon and Noel to all go Spirit Dive at the same time. I mean, we don't even know if Fuego can do it yet. Like, it's logically he can, but we don't know if he can pull it out yet. I think the Heavenly Knights will be similar to the Knights of the Blue Sky from Rave Master, where instead of becoming animals, they became robots. It would be cool if they all had their own different ways to have found to survive. If they're all machines, I'm alright with it. I don't know. I feel like Mishima won't go with the all machines route. There might be some that are just old. Maybe there's some that are species and like alien races that live much longer. Question mark. Just like way past their prime. You can get someone like Yoda. Do you think Murphobia could help our team in fight, not only in Celine fight, but in general? Well, he can't really do anything right now. Like, he can't do anything at the moment. He doesn't have any, like, power to use. He's just a dude right now. He'd just be, like, what, throwing buckets of water at Celine. Take that. He just chucks a bucket at her. It's not really going to do much. Like, she's going to be too powerful. On top of that, like, I just don't really see him having the ability to kind of, like, fully weigh up, you know? If he was, I mean, because, like, if he was at full power, then it would just be him versus Celine, and the other characters would just have to be there. Because Celine even confirms that all of the, that all of the Dragon Gods are equal to each other. They're all at level, and they're all relevant to each other around them. The Aeronens is definitely going to be one of the ones that kind of put, like, a question mark around that. Same with the Ignia. Just because theirs is more mysterious, their reveals are going to be bigger. I'll have to wait and see about that one. Who's more unhinged, Shura or Dabi, especially when he tried to burn Todoroki when he was an infant? I would probably say Shura, just because, like, Shura has nothing that can kind of hold him back whatsoever. Like, he doesn't, like, the law he doesn't have to worry about. He has absolutely nothing that can stop him if he goes out and does stuff. Like, Dabi still has to keep himself a level of control if he's gonna go out, like, in public and not get caught or, like, get in any situations, whereas Shura can just do whatever he feels like. Ignis said to Chad, want to see him slap some fodder like Gray and then kidnap Lucy. I mean, we'll see. We'll see about that one. I mean, obviously he can beat Gray, but we'll see about it. Like, he's gonna start kidnapping Lucy. He'll do anything in order to get Natsu angry. Magic Council should have created the Magic Council could have created faced weapons based on these creatures in Elentir. Yeah, but how would they have known? Like I feel like whatever gets that process done that made this guy and Face probably came from the same person. Like, if there's some form of crafter out there that can do this, I don't know. Like, this is so strange, and like the whole information we have so far is like it's like the magic of Elentir, and it's like taking a form or something. It's really strange. I definitely can't wait to see what the translations say, and then like where this is gonna go in like the next couple chapters. Because this chapter only kind of gave us the introduction of us getting to it. We don't have anything that's like actually going into like deep discussion with this thing, finding out some like deeper information about like its existence, where it's from, and Well, we know where it's from, but it's more large scale and valuable, just general information. Like what exactly we're gonna be get up on this thing that is going to that's gonna keep the ball rolling to kind of keep things moving and progressing with how the story is going and how things are gonna move. Lictor Lumiere either slaps Julius. I mean, yeah, they should be able to. Both of them have a perfect means to fight him. We know that time magic isn't as fully effective against light, so Lumiere is way more powerful than Patriot. Would make sense for him to have a way easier time. And then with the like linked with all his swords, should be able to just like say like just the demon dweller to cut and absorb Julius's spells, and then just move in for like a direct like close combat attack. Do you think this creature's name is? Make up a name. The translations so far say he's called Alta Face, which is definitely an odd one right now, but I like it. I think Margir's face plan to defeat Aknologian Fairy Toll is better than Zeref's use of using Fairy Heart. It's effective. Like, it was effective to a degree, but like it's something that that's something that I don't think a lot of the characters would have known or really thought about, like just in how face specifically would affect Acnologia. But also, like it's way more like one set, because if you set off face, like it's gonna have all like the obvious effects on magic all around it. But also, Zeref really wanted to undo events in the story, because he wasn't looking at just defeating Acnologia. It was also for him as well, and like trying to reset his life and do everything. It's way more for a short-term effect, but it's not like the full picture that Zeref wanted. Imagine at the end of the series, we likely see a dude who made face, and look literally like that's a face on his face. I hope that it's not as that straightforward. It's called a character Larius. Apparently he's called Alta Face, like it has a name. Meant him more work in Acnologia? No, he'd be too powerful for it. William Vengeance betraying the kingdom was less impactful than Elfman blowing up the guild. I don't know about that. The thing about like Elfman is Elfman was like directly mind controlled, and he really blew up the guild. Whereas like William messed up a lot of stuff for people around the country, so William's definitely way more at fault than anybody else, and definitely way more. There's like way more build up of stuff on him rather than anything on like Elfman. I mean, Elfman didn't do anything that crazy. Could Prime, Julius, Licht, and Lumiere working together defeat Bloodman? No, because Bloodman just counters them from a power standpoint. They don't have any way to really hit him. Like this, once he just turns into a cloud of demon particles, like, the devil particles are just gonna erase all the magic in the area, pollute them, get those guys sick, cancel out any of their spells, and just completely overwhelm them. Like, he's got other hexes, but like the devil particles themselves are such a dangerous thing for like magic versus, just because of its general effect of polluting the magic and doing more for people with more magic. Like this would be something super detrimental to these guys, and he scales like generally way higher for being a Spriggan. It's just a bad matchup. Bloodman is just a really bad matchup for a lot of Black Clover characters. I think the bottom will bring back Prime Julius. I would assume so. Like, he's got like his whole time mess aroundy like thing going on right now. Like it exists in the series, so I would assume that he's gonna have some form of future capability of aging himself up. Well, that's something for the future and for Tabata, but I feel like it's something that he's already established, so it's just something that makes sense. Wendy's next power up be this phase? I don't know. Like, it'd be really weird, because with Face, it was making the magic in the air. The Ethernet was way more potent around it. Like, just the general vicinity of it in the air had way thicker of an amount of Ethernet. Whereas, I don't think that kind of effect is going to be even remotely the same in this scenario. I mean, we'll see, because they're responding to too much magic, not instead of doing anything to make more. Cursekin Bloodman versus Cursequid Megicula. But he also has Devil Slaying, is the thing. Like, he also has Devil Slaying, so he also has a way to counter devils. Like, Bloodman is just like a... The thing about Bloodman was just a big bundle of hacks. Like, there was nothing really to him outside of that. But, like, for what he's got, dude's got some hacks, man. Naruto without Kurama versus Asta. What is Kurama, like, list Naruto? Like, what's his best feat anyway? What else is there? Which is dumber, Sakura trying to kill Sasuke and Roan, or Mess pissing off August? I'd say Mess pissing off August, because with Sakura... Oh, Kanmano, thank you for the super chat. I'll get to that 1 second, my guy. With Sakura, there's like a degree still of somewhat camaraderie and hoping that they can kind of like get him over, or if you just mean, oh, specifically like when he tried to kill her, like Sakura trying to kill Sasuke, rather. Okay.
You just busted a nut.
And hers was more in the responsibility that she has, what she believed tied to it. Whereas like August, it was like, man, we had this somewhat under control. We were working out a plan. What are you doing? Like August, his was just completely left field and so not well. Like it was so high risk, high reward planned by Mest, based off of like very little that he had prepared for him, but also no real idea of the repercussions. That was like way worse for him. But yes, Kanmano, thank you for the $50 super chat, Yo Rax. Why so cringe, man? I don't think I'm cringe. I'm working on it. Are you caught up on Hinoa? I'm not caught up on Hinoa. I've been meaning to catch up on it the last couple weeks, but I haven't. But it is definitely still on my list. I haven't read any chapters since my last review because I wanna make sure the next time I get to the point where I can catch up that I can do it naturally and fresh. I just haven't gotten back to it, but I do want to. Also read Dokumushi and Jujika no Rakunin. I told you I was going to read those. I started one of them. I've been reading a little bit. I just haven't gotten I'm just not up to date, but I'm going to. They're on my list though. Also, you do a tier list of anime and manga series you read instead of a character one. Or just like my general favorites. I could do that sometime. It'll take me a little bit longer to get it prepared. So I got to think about different series and different ones that I want. Larry has a million arms. He's like cheap Arceus. I mean, Arceus is like based off of like an actual deity-like creature, right? Like actually based off. I don't remember what it's called, but it's in Hindu. Like having 1,000 arms. Like is this weird horse thing? Horse deity-like creature. Can we all agree Urza has insane physical strength? I mean, yeah, 100%. I'm sure, like, everybody agrees with that. But, like, talking about Fate, like, the Alta face, I'm curious if, like, its weird root hands spread all the way out and it's the source of all the hands, or if there's multiple of these. Because if there's only one, then that must mean that like, this thing stretches to the entire planet, right? If there's only one of them, and this happens all over the world, and logically, this guy affects the whole world. I saw someone put Battle Dress Hermit over Clean and Power-wise. What's your stance on that? Well, no, because Hermit isn't a power-based fighter. Like, she's a programmer. She's like a hacker. Like, everything about her is going to be dependent on her environment, whereas, like, Sylph is, she's just got her straight power. She's just going to do her thing. A battle between them would really just come down to, like, Hermit's planning and scheming. Hermit might be able to win, but that's not nearly as much a power thing and more of just, like, her being tricky or just being a smart fighter. But Sylph also has the possibility of just wrapping her up in her wind and trapping her beforehand. Dragon Ball the Wendy Appreciator really thought he could beat the strongest Spriggan. He was just so, like, he was doing, like I said, too high risk, high reward. And unfortunately for him, there wasn't a reward. That was just all the risk. Arceus is my profile picture. Oh, I see it. Nice. The Pokemon God. When Jin gets Overdrive, do you think he'll be stronger or only slightly stronger than Overdrive Homura? I would assume stronger. he definitely has a level so far of display that I would assume that he is stronger than Homura without them ever having to actually just straight 1v1. He just seems like he's like a more powerful character, like in terms of like fighting. So we'll see with that one. I want to know if there's any different additions to their overdrives. Like we didn't get any like descriptions of like what exactly does Overdrive Homura do? Is she just physically more capable? Is she fast? Like how much faster is she? What does her sword strike do? Like was it the full circular sword? Like does it have any effects? Is it just like a really powerful technique? Same thing with like Wise. Like does Wise get anything, or is it just like he's gonna be doing his machine, like his whole machine of like recreation, like faster and larger scale, or is there like, oh yeah, I can do higher tech machines if I do it from this way, or like make upgrades? I don't know. Rex, who wins, Egyptian gods from Yu-Gi-Oh or Exodia? I'm talking about 1-on-1, not 3v1. Oh, the Egyptian gods should build defeat Exodia, because like in the Yu-Gi-Oh lore, Exodia is still hyped up, but the only creature that was ever like hyped up to be on the same full tier as the Egyptian gods in like the canon, like the full. Oh yeah, these guys are right about there. Is the white dragon? Is the blue eyes white dragon like itself? It's the only one that's really been hyped to be that kind of like same level of prestige and same level of just like outright power. Which ability is better? Nasai's isn't more Midnight's Nightmares. Nasai's definitely seem better because like his work on machines, and they seem harder to deal with. You can completely like get past Midnight's by closing your eyes. I mean that he still has other ways of fighting you, and it's not like you're gonna be at your best with your eyes closed. But it's something that's clearly way easier to deal with. Whereas like Nasai's messing with the power in your body. I would assume unless you have like a specific resistance or feat against a technique like that, or you're just so much more powerful that he can't mess with your ether and like in your body, then I would definitely go with Nasai's, because it's like I said, it's also work on machines, so it's valuable. Like it's way more valuable. I would wonder though if it would work on anybody with like electric powers. Like if you tried on someone like Laxus, could see just shock it to not work. Favorite Godslayer? Probably Zankro. I do wish Zankro had more value to him. They like the Edens are anyway so far. Yeah, it's looking good so far. It's been pretty nice and pretty crisp. They've been keeping it consistently looking clean and looking at just well for all of the scenes and everything going on. The machine would forget Becky has a bomb around her neck. I mean, she hasn't gotten out of the woods yet. Like, this is just the first bit. Give her some time. Would Overdrive Y still be able to beat Overdrive Jin because he could modify his body? That's again one of the things, like I mentioned. Like it's gonna come down like fights like that to what does he get in Overdrive? What does his power really amount to? Because if it's just he just reworks Jin's body, then he should have no problem beating Jin in like regular Ether Gear powers. But I assume that with Overdrive, there's like additional things that we just haven't gotten like straight up stated to us. Because so far, like, I don't imagine it's like the same as Dragon Force where they can get a perk to it. Because like when Natsu first got Dragon Force against Jalal, there was nothing really insane. When we saw it against Zero, he was able to burn magic, and that was something he later learned to be able to do at will. So it was definitely a dragon skill. It was a fire dragon skill at being able to burn said other elements or other energies. Like burning magic, and he's been able to burn other things and whatnot. But for the most part, it's something that he should like gained at a power up display, and how Dragon Force works. Obviously, progresses your Dragon Slayer abilities and the dragon form you're in. So it's more of like a grasp of the future of your dragon skills, and not obviously getting that way later. It made sense. Whereas like none of the overdrives so far have. None of them have given like an extra ability, like unlocked a skill the same way. Like they just get more powerful. While like Draken Joe has way more alchemical like kind of reach and speed. While like Shiki has way more like gravity like attuned to him. Like it just seems way more of like a general boost rather than a full like upgrade and step forward like further that that we get with Dragon Force. That's just like something to take note of, but like I still hope that there is some form of like extra additional ability that they can get. But if not, that's not a big deal. Sherry over Zankro over a little shit over Oregon. Oregon getting bottom place doesn't surprise me. Like, Oregon didn't really get anything whatsoever from Mishima. Thoughts on Nalu? I'm happy that they had their day. Like, Mishima put up some nice fan art. Did a lot for the fandom. They were very happy about that. So Dark Magician can't contend with the Egyptian gods, even though he's a rival to Blue Eyes White Dragon. I mean, he can mess with the Blue Eyes White Dragon, but he's not like a 1-for-1. He can't like 1-for-1 fight any of them. He can mess with them to a degree. Like Mahad is actually really hype. He was the most powerful sorcerer in the world. Like, he's the most powerful like magician at that time to be alive. Nazi should have lost if Jalal wasn't injured by Urza beforehand. Mishima even puts attention to his injury, stopping him from using a piss break. I mean, yeah, he had damage prior to that fight. I don't know. I feel like Nazi still could have jumped and still damaged him. It just gave him like a really good opening to go in. But like, there didn't seem to really be that much of like Natsu could have just jumped. I don't think it would be the exact same, but I'd still say he was way more powerful, obviously, and defeating him was still something that he was capable of doing. How do you feel about Grey freezing magic concepts like how Natsu burns magic concepts? Well, Natsu's not burning magic concepts. Natsu's burning concepts. It doesn't have just to do with magic. Like, burning time itself, that's concept. Grey can get up to that level at some point, like freezing things. Like, he's already frozen things without ethereal form. Without physical form, like ethereal things. He's obviously outdone Invul, who can freeze thoughts. Grey, like, getting up to that crazy hacks is definitely like an open field for him at some point. Yami had that Yamato from Devil May Cry. How strong would it be? I would love to see Yami like with a sword that it's like not just a sword, like some form of rare magical like weapon that it's like it's got this hype behind it. Maybe it's indestructible or something. I would love to see Yami get like a proper weapon upgrade, but I would assume he's really powerful. Mahad versus Seaheart. Oh, Mahad. Or who has more loyalty? Oh, Mahad. Mahad is like one of the most loyal motherfuckers you can get. Jal did fight Zareth without time stop. How would he do? Zareth would still body him. We know Zareth was way more powerful, and Zareth was like a master of magic. Because you have to keep in mind, Irene knew fully well that Zareth was beyond anything that she was capable of. She brought this up herself. She said that was it like something that she wasn't able to figure out or do for 400 years. It was nothing to Zareth. He just instantly figured it out. He knew what he was doing. It was child's play to him. And somebody like him, it's just like it's not something that he has to really bother too much for to get by. So he's gonna snap his fingers and Joel's done. GG. That'd be it for that fight. Are the fan translations out yet, man? Like, my day was already pushed back a good chunk. Like, I meant to stream at, like, somewhere around, like, 2:30 to 3, but I fell asleep. And I woke up at, like, 3 and realized at 5, and I realized I hadn't done my Four Nights the Apocalypse review. And that should be almost finished uploading now. I wanted to make sure I did that in Eden Zero before I got to the stream. I think they'll upload around, like, I think it says, like, 15 minutes. So, like, I'll probably go around then and then call it good. Look, we've talked about for the most part everything that I wanted to about the chapter, because it's way more on the mystery this chapter of what exactly is going on with this big weird face of creature thing. What is the mystery behind this? What is Mishima planning, and where he's gonna take this? Because it's an odd freaking turn. What's up, Bud? How are you doing? Bud, you were here earlier. You're talking about reading Mashal. Silver one shot Natsu, he couldn't. Zarefrak and Loki did the same thing. That cool. What do you mean? Like, well, Zaref, he wanted to. I mean, like, we saw that he was strong enough to do it. And acting like it wasn't fighting too seriously, where it's like Silver immediately, like, had to shut him up. Will you review Bleach anime when it comes back? I might do some just talking about... Here's the thing, like, I might do some just talking about, like, the Bleach, like, episodes, but it will be more on, like, oh, let me talk about, like, things maybe they might have changed, areas they respected, how things, like, looked, maybe, like, parts I'm anticipating. Like, I probably won't do, like, a one-for-one, just, like, a regular review, like, if I was reviewing it, like, I'd do a series, but more of, like, a every couple episode kind of summary, just giving my talks and takes on it. I definitely would be alright with it, because I do like Bleach.
How strong would you consider Dragon Force Natsu in terms of tiers? Would you consider multi-continental, planet level? I mean, he should be up there at least in the like the moons to like somewhere within planetary, because he's it should be a multiplier, like just from like known multipliers. We have Lost Aspect, which is like several hundred. Dragon Force should be above that just based off of feats that Natsu did. And when you already have a dude who's like high continental in base, giving him like 2 to 300 plus multiplier, you're already gonna put him up in a really high area. But on top of that, I would assume that I feel like Natsu with his Dragon Force shouldn't be below what Suzaku just did. Granted, it wasn't a Celine, I think, that was at her max power, but it's still something that we can look at, like Celine's feats at that level and still give him like a really good amount of power to it. Because like she was casually messing with the moon nearby and made it like to the size of Earth, and then also messing with a much larger planet in an entirely different dimension. OP. If Rogue ever uses swords, we have to make an apology video. If Rogue pulled out one of his swords, he would have to actually use it like a swordsman, and then he would need to say why he hasn't been using it this whole damn time. Could acting like eat anti-magic? I feel like he should be fine to a degree. And it would really depend. Is it anti-magic that is something like Yuka's where it's stem to magic, or is this like Asta's anti-magic, or like Devil Particle's anti-magic? Because he can't eat those. I remember if I dropped it or not. Yeah, he says about Masha. We're finally getting Donnie lore. Donnie lore is definitely really weird. I didn't expect it to be like this, but I like it. If Rogue and Sting were 7 years younger than Natsu and Gacho when they were younger than Wendy before the time skip, they should have been around Wendy's age. Like if they also came through at the same, like if they were on Sirius Island, they would be about Wendy's age, like pretty much. Like it's pretty simple, to be perfectly honest. Just literally think of Wendy if she was or if she wasn't influenced by the time skip. Whereas like if Wendy didn't get left behind or wasn't on Sirius Island, she probably would have been same age as like Sting and Rogue, kind of like their age and size at the moment. A little bit extra, obviously. It's been a little bit of time since the Grand Magic Games. It's actually weird to think about. It's been over 2 years in their world since the Grand Magic Games occurred. I'm looking over. I just got some new cups that I got in the mail, and I have to take them downstairs at some point. I gotta get them sprayed off. What other series are you watching, reading? I mean, everything right now that's like mostly on my channel is like stuff that I'm doing. I am planning on reading some other series. Those ones you recommended are still on my list. I wanted to read the one by that guy who was an assistant to Fujimoto. Was it Dadandan or whatever it's called? I want to read that. There's a bunch of stuff that I definitely want to try out and maybe do something for the channel. We'll see. I still have like some videos that I gotta do, but there's nothing that I really have. There's nothing that I have like in full setup yet for other ones that I want to add in, but I have them like at least somewhat an idea of like where I want them and when, to a degree. But like for my videos, I think the way that like my side content one's gonna go, like anything that has to do like not like chapter review, like to get ones that I feel like needs to get done with a certain amount of time, kind of like just kind of talks. It'll just be more of like, hey, this is what's coming out next, what I'm working on, and like no specific date, because I feel like the specific dates are definitely what hurt it a little bit. Because I still got to do like the one archive, and I my plan is I want to do I got to do the White Shadow Dragon Slayer one, and I'm gonna do a bunch of smaller ones off on the side to kind of like supplement in ones that I can do multiple in a day and it'll be no problem. Like I want to talk about Bacchus's magic. Cool, you're just putting magic in palms and talk about the implication or the implementations of it and like how exactly it like would work in other scenarios. Like who else could really benefit from it? Like who? Because the thing about their magic obviously is they can learn other magics. There's nothing stopping any of these guys from learning something like Bacchus's magic or going out and learning something like a type of maker magic. There's a lot of possibilities that you can do there, like if some of these characters really wanted to. They don't have to, but it's definitely something that is fully open as a possibility for them. I was given 7 Bud Lights today. Are you sponsored by Bud Light now, bud? Shouldn't Wendy grow up? I mean, she's like slowly aging. She's just going at a much more regular pace. Look at Meredy. Like, you just gotta give her a couple more years. If Edelus gets its magic from Elentir, I don't want that. I actually really don't. I'm perfectly happy with the people of Edelus living their life how they've gotten used to it, and like no magic and just living life enjoyably to their own standard, their own new standard. How do you feel about Natsu being one to defeat all 5 Dragon Gods? I don't think, like, I'm fine with him being involved because obviously he's the main character. They're on this quest. I'm hoping that it's not just like Natsu coming down to just Natsu every time. I don't think it's gonna be, because even with the first fight when it could have been Natsu, like Mishima had like Natsu obviously in character, but like Mishima had it so the other characters still participated. And Alderaan, really, when you think about it, it wasn't just Natsu. Like they won through mechanics, like through how he works. Like Natsu wouldn't have won if the God Seeds weren't defeated and he didn't have that time period of like while he was weaker. I think the commander of those soldiers would have saved Hermit from Mueller will be revealed to be an important character from the Interstellar Union army. That'd be kind of cool if like maybe like Jaguar. Not sponsored, but yeah, I did turn 21. Well, happy birthday to you, man. You could be sponsored. Don't give up. Dragon gods aren't half human unless I'm forgetting something. No, they're dragons. They're full dragons. What do you mean? As far as we know, they are fully pure-blooded dragons. Nothing beyond that. I don't think there's been any word about them being any like dragon slayers or anything. Not to beating best boy phobia. All the shining is already too much for me. Well, so no, I mean Natsu didn't even beat the first 2 by himself. Ignia, I still think he has to be by himself though. But Alderaan was as a dragon was defeated mostly by Gigacho. Well, he wasn't defeated; he was causing problems. So because of like the way he worked, he could only have his mind in either his main body or his avatar. That's why he was switching between them, but he didn't know entirely what was going on in the opposing spot once he switched. So Gajo was causing problems for him. He went out there like that was giving openings to Natsu. But also the God Saints just being destroyed made him way weaker for a bit. So that made it so that they were able to, or that Natsu was able to go in and beat him in the first place, go in and defeat him. Everyone's talking about Gray versus Mira. What's your opinion on Gray versus Urza? Full power. Like right now, I really want to wait for Gray to get some feats. Like that. Well, he just got some, but like new skill stuff. But I mean, he did just get a fight, so I kind of have to give him the like. He did get a very recent fight, so it'd be fair to kind of like gauge him off of that. Because like the thing that Urza had got recently that's obviously very good for her side of things is she beat Laxus. Oh, sorry, she almost beat Laxus, which Gray. I don't think Gray would get nearly as far with Laxus, at least at the moment. I would like to assume, because though I would say that Gray is one of the more powerful people in the guild yet right now, I don't think that he's more powerful than Laxus, and I've put him and Urza around the same tier right now, respectively. Because like obviously the difference, like when you look at his feats with like, when you look at his stuff with say E&D, like he had the Devil Slayer kind of like level of extra counter and damage that isn't the exact same as him just fighting a regular person. Urza has all her utility. She's better with the sword than Gray. I would honestly, like, right now I'll definitely say Urza, just because, like I said, I don't think current Gray is more powerful than Laxus, and Urza almost beating Laxus is something that really gives her the benefit right now in a fight. It's like talking about Jalal versus Laxus, and realizing that Laxus, has his Red Lightning Dragon Slayer mode, or sorry, Red Lightning Dragon mode, and Jalal hasn't gotten anything since the time skip, so having that new additional really dangerous ability obviously is going to be really like help close like a good chunk of gap over a guy who hasn't gotten anything new since the time skip. I hope my next generation of Fairy Tail, I would like that too. I think Mishima would be fine because like next gen stuff isn't a problem. It's just when they do it just for milking a series, it can show a lot. I got some Four Knights of the Apocalypse series. What theories do you have? I think Homura had better training for Valkyrie Dress than Urza did when she was young. Well, yeah, it's like when she was young, because Homura was actually being trained by somebody who was like a master swordswoman, whereas Urza, like Urza was not. We don't know who trained Urza, or if she just kind of like picked up a lot of skills along the way. I would definitely say that that Homura had way more and better training. Like she actually had training under someone who was skilled with the sword. Gray's not weaker than Wendy. Stop. When Aja was controlled by White Mage, he went toe to toe with Datsu. Oh, he was around. He was around Lightning Flame Dragon mode. Natsu. Natsu didn't use Fire Dragon King mode or Dragon Force. Does that mean he's equal? Natsu. He's equal to. They're equal in the forms around that they have. Like Iron Shadow Dragon, Gajo is around level 2 Lightning Flame Dragon mode. Natsu. There's a level of understanding there in their levels. But obviously, like that was Natsu trying to like fight more on his level, a fair fight to him, but get the best fight out of it. Gray Fran needs to understand the Devil's Slaying was carrying Gray for the entire restrained E&D fight. I mean, he has like feats and reactions that still scale, and it shows like how powerfully and specifically against devils and demons. But obviously, that's not going to be the same level of boost and like power neutralization that he's going to have against a regular person. That's specifically something against demons. What's your favorite of Natsu's forms? My Dragon Force. Yeah, Dragon Force for me too. Arthur will win Four Knights of the Apocalypse because the anime interest is Britannia. We'll see an ancient Britannia, and the story is before all the magical worlds were separated forever. Do you really think they're gonna win and then just like call it good? Because that's like, if that happens, what's the main cast gonna do? What are Arthur and all of them gonna do to really kind of contend with this? Won't that just be GG? I mean, I don't know. It could happen. You could be right on it, but we don't know entirely until it happens. It's just for now. It'll just be a weird subject. I feel at least. Not 100% on that though. I just wanted this chapter to come out, man. I really want to figure out some of the context of the Alta face, dude, and what exactly he means. Like, what is his plan? Dragon, Fire Fist. All right, Fire. First, Fire Dragon King mode, Crimson Flame, and Lightning Flame Dragon are my favorite forms. I like the Red Flame. I don't know why the anime team always gives Natsu the Golden Fire. Like, that's something that's regular. What's your favorite fight in Fairy Tail? If I had to pick one fight, stuff like the Hades fight, the fight with like Natsu and Gray versus Margear is definitely one of my favorites too. I think some other really good ones. I really like the Jalal fight. Natsu versus Jalal is definitely one of my favorites. Gray versus Rufus. Probably my favorite fight for Urza. Like, Azuma's one of them, but also figuring out Midnight was really cool. Just watching her like pick apart like the weaknesses to his magic. That was really neat. How much of a fight could Homura give Jin if they both fought in base? I would assume like a pretty fair fight. Like, Homura's not weak. I think Jin just has more experience. Like, he's way more of a trained fighter. And on top of that, I'm be willing to guess that he's way better with his ether gear, just based off of like how close he already was to Overdrive. You guys should see the Xenoblade series. I never really played Xenoblade. Gaja under Ferris by Natsu was just Majin Vegeta. Not really. Vegeta chose that, and Gaja was still like inherently a good person. Like, we both saw that. Like, he was getting ready to freak out if Natsu even hurt Levi. Whereas like Vegeta was being a psycho. I didn't think we could get Iron Dragon God from Gajil. I think it'll depend. We could get some new form coming up with Viernitz, which would be super cool. I gotta do that video still. Mora is what every woman should aspire to be. Swordswoman. Theory number 2. Percival's magic works like it absorbs the opponent's life force and wants to heal himself, whereas friends use either their life force or his own life force. I mean, that'd be a really interesting twist. I don't know if Nakaba will go through with that, because that'll really screw over like the whole main cast and like probably emotionally cripple Percival. I don't know if he'd be able to like keep himself together if he like finds out he's been doing something super negative and detrimental towards like his crew all along, and just like completely led to their demise or something. I think that might be it for this stream. Like, this was a shorter stream. I thought it'd be a lot longer of one, but we didn't really have like ton to talk about. The stuff with the Alta face is more like it's a really intriguing setup that I can't wait to figure out like where Mishima plans to direct it. We can still figure out more stuff to talk about if you guys can think of stuff to drop in the comments. I'm otherwise trying to think of like what we can look at. Arthur's a prick dude, doesn't respect the sacrifices made. Merlin lost my respect for going along. I mean, Merlin was super sus already. I mean, she was already fine betraying and lying to people for her own game. Thoughts on Lola Petrica not dying? There's still room. There's still time that she could go. We don't know. But anyway, other than that though, I'm gonna call it here. What's today? Today's the 27th. So we'll have a normal stream on Saturday. We'll just go back to our normal streams. We should have like Shonen Jump news and information, getting ready for that week as well, and hopefully getting closer to finding out what exactly like the secrets around Face and all these are. Like, any predictions for Black Clover or My Hero? I don't really have any for My Hero. For Black Clover, I just really want to see Megicula drop some lore. I really want to see Megicula just give us some general devil information. But anyway, other than that though, talk to you guys on a different day. You guys have a good